They start with no generosity for how language actually works, then twist and build from there. Another trope of their framing from news to comedy is this idea that Trump wasn't caring, but they were, that he wasn't aware of the current situation, but they are. Instead, what emerges is that while there's almost nothing accurate at all in the corporate media productions, Trump was behaving responsibly, making sure people were confident in their predictions while being praised by those around him at the national level for the wide range of information he was putting out in his tweets and statements.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for convening us today, for your focus on our readiness for this storm, and for amplifying FEMA's messages on preparedness throughout the week. Thank you also to our cabinet partners and our state governors for joining us.
On the other hand, members of the media are so trapped inside their own information bubbles, watching TV, blocking anyone that disagrees, that they begin building up and repeating errors in their echo chambers. These errors go uncorrected, and probably go unknown. This happens all the time. Because they're so focused on Trump instead of finding the truth, they get lost in their own distortions.
He's still insisting that Alabama is in the path of is in a storm's path.
This is not actually correct. This MSNBC report is from September 4th, and this is a discussion of Trump's tweet and statement from 3 days earlier.
The Bahamas over the weekend. Everyone's thoughts are with the people down there. Everyone but Donald Trump's thoughts, because he's still obsessed.
Should be playing some sort of role in, for example, giving aid to the Bahamas, which was absolutely decimated by this storm.
Yeah, I hope the U.S. Coast Guard, by the way, does the job in the Bahamas that they did after Katrina, because it made every American proud.
These people literally are just not very well informed, because earlier this same day it's quite clear Trump knows exactly where the storm was at that point, and that this was a secondary media controversy that was also being addressed. In this next clip, he responds to a question about what was being done in the Bahamas. Remember, this is 7 or 8 hours before this MSNBC broadcast.
The Coast Guard is over there in a very big way now. I think we have almost 8 helicopters, between 6 and 8. We'll have 8 there very shortly. It's a tremendous tragedy.
He would see it as weakness to accept a basic fact that the hurricane is now on a path nowhere near Alabama.
But we also have to watch, though, what's happening with Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina. It's on its way up, so we have to see where it hits, how it hits. We got very, very lucky in Florida, as you know, John. We talked about that a little while ago. Florida was going to take a direct hit, go right through into the Gulf, and really that would have been tragedy, and it made that right turn that a lot of people didn't expect. Very few people expected that to happen, and not only a right, it stayed fairly far away. So Florida's in great shape, and now we're going to go through some tremendous states, and we're going to see how they do. But so far it's staying away. We think it could come on in South Carolina, come very much more onshore. We'll see what happens. But so we have to keep our guard up. We're watching that, but we're also very much helping the government of the Bahamas.
Members of the corporate media not only get confused factually by output that is not centered around truth gathering, but are also incentivized to portray confidence even when their statements are merely propositions and opinions they're trying to push on you.
Mulvaney wanted to correct the record because he felt the Birmingham tweet went too far. National Weather Service tweet went too far. One that actually forecasts the weather.
That's right, it went too far. That tweet wasn't forecasting the weather. It went against the National Weather Service forecasts at the time. Just as the statement from NOAA said, they spoke in absolute terms that were inconsistent with probabilities, which said there was a 5% chance of storm force wind in southeast Alabama. Even more, the area of Alabama that was still included in some of the Dorian warnings is largely outside the Birmingham office's area of responsibility, shown on their Twitter page with this vertically squeezed map. We're beginning to see why Trump would keep drawing attention back to this story. As we just saw, forecasts on the day of Trump's tweet and statement at FEMA still included the corner of Alabama with a low probability of storm force winds.
Trump is insisting he's right, even tweeting out projections last night from over a week ago with dated information.
These media segments often made an exaggerated issue that Trump was showing dated forecasts, even though they described the development of the storm in the couple days before the controversy. And the whole issue naturally involved dated forecasts, since the topic involved a dispute regarding previous days' forecasts. To make an issue of this shows a clear lack of good faith.
WAFF, the NBC affiliate, Tennessee Valley's first alert breaking news and weather center. I hear they're looking for a weatherman. You're great. I mean, you're like natural for that. I'll keep it in my back pocket. I also want to talk about protuberances because it's an awesome word, and it leads me to the word of the night for me, which is another P word, which is pathological.
The president is pathological.
I think if you're going to make explosive comments like that, you shouldn't make a joke of it, and you should speak clearly. This guy doesn't have any qualifications to make such a statement, and he hasn't built any case beyond alliteration and a funny-sounding word. This is journalism? They think they are the rightful watchmen over the nation? This next bit opens with a similar structure to some of the news programs, just amped up to an